The European Commission published in March 2018 its draft proposal for a Covered Bond Directive that has been long anticipated by both issuers and investors. How this will affect the CEE issuers? Well, national covered bond regimes differs. Some of them, even the more established ones like Germany and Denmark, differ more than most. Same applies to the CEE countries, as some of them, like Poland and Slovakia, have already amended the covered bond legislation, taking into consideration already the recommendation of the EBA, while other countries still have the legislation adopted about 20 years ago when this market started to develop. The CEE countries will have to implement the directive once adopted, as the directive will become the EU law. There is 1 year deadline for the national legislation to transpose the directive into the national law, so in theory it should become enforced by all the EU member states in March 2020, and it's clear that it's a very tight deadline, because legal and regulatory change will be required to implement this directive. This will also have an impact on the CEE issuers, and as depending on how far away from the directive the current legislation is, they will have to amend the programs to a lesser or a bigger extent. Regardless the harmonization process, what is important to note is that the new directive is going to be applied to both existing and new issuances. For example, increased transparency, the extensive investor reporting is envisaged with the proposed directive, which exceeds the provision typically covered with the covered bond law. In addition to this, to the increased transparency, other challenges might be the increase in the over-collateralization ratios, because in some of the current legislation, this ratio is 0, or introducing some of the liquidity buffers.